Luckily, I came along as Momo to fix Christian theology and to fix religion and to fix the Bible. That's exactly what Luther said. And in fact, that's exactly what others said, like, what's the guy, Zwingli? Okay. They said things like, well, I had no idea how wrong the church had been and how wrong every church father had been until I came along. Good grief, good thing I was here to fix it. All right. So, so he says this doesn't change the facts surrounding indulgences. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, the thing is, Luther lied about indulgences like he lied about everything else, right? Now, if Luther was such a prolific liar, and he was, and I'm willing to, yeah, he was, I'm saying it, then can we trust anything else he says? Can we trust his doctrine? Can we trust that he was thorough and correct and logical, consistent with his doctrine? And I'd say the answer is no, right? And in terms of indulgences, sure. I mean, you can point fingers at the church. You can point fingers at the Catholic Church, most definitely. And then you can also point fingers at the Protestant church. Like people love to point fingers at the Catholic Church about, diddling kiddies. Well, you know what? It's a big target. There's the Catholic Church, one big target. Then there's 9 million different Protestant churches. And you know what? Combined, they have an even worse kiddie diddling problem than the Catholic Church does. But of course, it's so widespread, it's not as easy to notice because it's not one big target. Okay, the Protestant church, if you go and look at the research, has an even worse kiddie diddling problem. Okay, even worse than the Catholic Church. But yeah, it's okay because it's Protestants taking these little boys and girls and diddling them. That's okay when Protestants do it. And that's sadly what happens within the Protestant world because, you can only blame the Catholics, right? So yeah, anyway, but that's my story. So yeah, let's see if I missed anything. And on the issue of indulgences, look, there's always detail that's somehow left out. There's always propaganda that somehow just paints a particular picture and leaves out critical information. So yes, there are issues, and yes, there's also things that are actually misrepresented. So let me see. Which branches of Protestantism. Everyone's always asking which branches are, look, just generally the Protestant church, all of them. I mean, if you look at the research, the Protestant churches, the more Protestant priests are accused of kiddie diddling than the Catholics. Yeah, it's a problem. Look, it's a crime. It's a sin. It's wrong. But, dude, it's like, yeah, it's on both sides. And of course, but we don't want to talk about the Protestants because, the Catholics are evil, the most corrupt, institution on earth and all that nonsense. Okay, yeah. So anything I have missed? Let me see. It's good to see non-Catholics even criticizing this. Yeah, well, look, I mean, yeah, I'm just reading through these notes and I'm thinking, okay, this is legit and it's supported by so many different sources. Hopefully I'm standing on facts, right? Let me see. Brandon Dry says, I'm new here, so I don't know if it's appropriate to ask questions while you're presenting. You're a Catholic since you support the Catholic Church in areas. No, I'm not a Catholic. I grew up in the Anglican Church, right? I have family in the Anglican Church who are priests. So I grew up within the Anglican Church. But that said, of course, the Anglican Church is to some degree similar to the Catholic Church, right? There are certain overlaps, there's certain similarities, but they're still a Protestant church. That said, as you start to look at these things, and I look at Luther and I'm like, yeah, why would I want to believe a single word Luther said when he lied about so many things, right? The man was a dirty snake. That's like the best, kindest thing I can say about it. Yeah, are you planning to do a Q&A video not on this topic? I can. Shall I do a Q&A video? Just have an open Q&A? I can do that. My professor compared Protestant Reformation to Darwinianism. The Protestant Reformation undermined the church. It undermined people's belief in the Bible, the Scripture. So it took away it really had an impact on people's faith, and it opened the door to lots of other ideas. So Darwinian thought is basically the creation myth without God. That's really what it is. Okay. GAFCON has divorced the Church of England. Yeah, I mean, the Church of England has gone off the rails. I mean, clearly, there's some issues there. So yeah, they protested against one papist, yet they only created more papists by removing the hierarchy. Makes sense. Yeah, they removed tradition. They removed authority. Everyone became his own pope. Only I can interpret the Bible. And I mean, that's another heresy actually that dates back to the 11th century or the 12th century. Okay. Then you got to go back to, of Fiore. Good grief. Oh, great. Let me try and find this guy now. Oh, great. So there's a scholar called something of Fiore. Someone help me out here. Something of Fiore. Joachim of Fiore. Yeah, so that idea. So Luther was influenced by a lot of very bad ideas, as far as I can tell. Now, I'm not ready to talk about this, but I'm working on it. So Luther was influenced by a heretic called Joachim of Fiore, right? And so Luther's ideas seem to overlap then. There's a whole bunch of other ideas, and I suspect Luther was very much involved into the occult, that he got into these secret societies, then he got into Gnosticism. That's something that I think is a claim that can be justified. Okay, that is evidence for that. So Joachim of Fiore. Yeah, so within Protestantism, that's a concern I'm also having. People read the Bible, make their own religion, make up their own, it's like, yeah, so who's right? It's not possible to be right. Let me see. So guys, I should call it here. I just meant to do a little quick run through of this, and so yeah, I think this was it. Hopefully this answered some questions. Thank you. Look forward to more on Luther. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you guys think of what I've said so far? And Calvin Robinson's an Admiral Anglican. Yeah, of course. I mean, you can't say that every Anglican is crazy or every Catholic is crazy, although some people do. But of course not. Sometimes it's a group of people in leadership that have gone off the rails. Sometimes there's a cell within them that have gone off the rails, and who knows? But yeah, I don't think you want to paint everyone with the same brush, unless they're atheists. Then they're idiots. I mean, like, I'm busy chatting with this. Let me just tell him he's merely ignorant of. Yeah, so anyway, one day I need to do more work on atheism. Those people annoy the hell out of me because, man, atheists are just, ugh. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, because of learning this info 3 years ago, I went from attending Lutheran services to the Catholic Church. And yeah, I've been speaking with people that are looking at the Protestant schisms and this diversity that doesn't seem all healthy, and people are going, what do we do now? I mean, there needs to be one right. 1 + 1 can't have 55 different answers. There's only 2 is the only right answer, right? You can't have 2.5, 3, 9, 81, 17, 25. There's got to be one right answer, right?